person in this world has a history. Every person in this world has a future. Oftentimes, we know ourselves, but we don't often get the chance to share our story with the world. We don't always share how we came to be who we are or what goals we have for our future in one discussion. Today, I'm here to share my story in hopes it may encourage others to share theirs as well. Let's start with me current. My name is Rachel Elizabeth Gray, and I typically go by either Rachel or Rachel Elizabeth. I have never been one for nicknames, and if it were up to me, I would go by Rachel Elizabeth all of the time. However, that is a bit of a mouthful, so Rachel is fine as well. My life revolves around two things: my love for working with kids and my love for my family. I have always been very close with my grandfather, as he has been my person. I'm also very close with my mother, who works in the same school as I do, and we have cultivated a deep friendship as I have entered adulthood. I work as a paraeducator at an elementary school, which means that typically I work one-on-one with a few students throughout my day. Right now, I have 5. All of these children have unique abilities and personalities. My goal each day when I go to work is to be a caring and trusted adult for my students to feel safe with and supported by. Now that you know what my life currently looks like, let's talk about how I got to where I am today. My history is a very important part of my life. As a child, I grew up with divorced parents. My father was not necessarily the most healthy person to have in my life in any significant way, so I lived primarily with my mother. For all of my life, my grandfather has been my primary father figure, and once I turned 16, I was introduced to the incredible man who would eventually become my stepfather. I never got much of a chance to spend time with my brother, as he actually chose to live with our father growing up. Our experience with our father was vastly different, and for him, it made a lot more sense to be with our dad. Before I started working in schools, I was a hairstylist. I went to cosmetology school and worked in salons for about 3 years, but I struggled with a lack of fulfillment. Something was definitely missing, and eventually I realized that what I truly wanted was to work in special education. I grew up caring for many cousins. I have 36 of them that are younger than me. And I truly believe that is something that helped me understand the needs of children and the importance of meeting those needs. My history brought me to where I am today, but it's also fueled the fire for my future goals. For my future, I have quite a few goals, but let's talk about the most important ones. I'm currently in school to get a degree in K-8 special education and have hopes to someday teach middle school resource math and English. I'll be moving to Florida shortly after graduation in order to take care of my grandfather, just like he's taking care of me. He lives in Bonita Springs, which is on the southern Gulf Coast, and as he ages, I become more and more sure that if I want to spend my time with anyone, it's him. I hope to be able to care for him in his old age as he has cared for me throughout my entire childhood. My mother is moving to South Carolina this summer, and I hope to continue to spend time with her and continue the friendship that we have cultivated in my adulthood. Luckily, she's only about an 8-hour drive from where I'll be living in Florida. Overall, my biggest goal is that as a teacher, I can advocate the needs of my future students and create an environment that is safe and where they feel loved, especially in those years that tend to be very formative for people to discover who they are. Now that you know a little bit more about me, I hope you'll consider sharing your story with others and allow space in your life for new friendships to develop. The key to creating strong relationships is knowing each other's stories. Thank you for listening.